You're gonna hear the fish aquarium next to me here. Let's talk about first impressions. We learned that they're so important, right? But you gotta wonder if they're always accurate and fair. You gotta wonder what really lies beneath any one person you encounter. What is that person really walking? I've heard all about the first impressions of me, and most of them baffle me. Like I look mean, or I look lofty, or even flaky. you know. But I wonder if I look like a Christian or a 35-year-old single mom and full-time student, online student at NDSU. And I wonder if I look homeless. Hi, I'm Mary, and I'm all of these things. I met my husband in 2006, and about a year later, we had our daughter, Avriana. And I've been the best mom, for these past 6.5 years, but I just could never make my marriage work with my husband. And we've both been full-time students for several years. And we've worked really hard to get our college degrees, just like you're doing. And one morning about a year ago, he left for school and just never came home. And he didn't even call to say goodbye to our daughter. He also left us with a lot of big problems. He left us without a vehicle, he left us with no money, and he left us with $5,000 of immediate debt. We were fixing to be evicted. We were looking at the power being cut off, and this is, northern Minnesota. I know I don't sound like it. I lived in South Carolina for a long time, but I'm in northern Minnesota, and it is cold outside. It can't have the power cut off. So I did everything that I could, y'all. But without a car, you can't get to work. Without getting to work, you can't pay the bills. And it was just this insane struggle. So I did my best to push off eviction notices and all that as long as I could, It was just so tough, though. Once the winter went by, things got easier. Once it got to be summer, I could walk my daughter across town to get groceries and stuff. But, she's 6 years old now. That's a long ways 4 or 5 miles is a long ways to walk every other day for groceries. The good news is I lost like 25 pounds in like 2 months. But the hard news is that almost every day that we would get home, there would be another letter at the door from the landlord saying, we want our money. And eventually it was, we want y'all out. So again, I pushed it off as far as I could, as long as I could. And eventually, it was this past late July, I found myself standing with my little girl in front of the judge. And I almost fainted when he said, you have 7 days to be out of the home you've lived in for 6 years. So 7 days later, we were homeless. Now, we do have my mom. This is her apartment, okay? But it's a small 1-bedroom, almost an efficiency, so it's against the law. It's against fire code for us to be up here, so we're just visitors. And, notifications. So we have to be out, soon. But again, without a car, no work. Without work, no money. So what do you do? I fall against God. That's what I do. Through all of this past horrendous year, I keep falling against him. And when everything's so scary and everything is so horrifying, he never lets me down, y'all, He always comes through with a miracle when things are just, you just can't take anymore, God delivers. So why, though, is he letting me go through all these hard times? I'm not really big on questioning God. To me, that's kind of scary. But I want to believe that he's preparing me for something huge. See, I want to be a preacher. I want to be a preacher who helps people, and I think that if you don't go through really hard times, you can't understand anybody else who goes through hard times. How can you really help people if you don't have empathy and compassion? So, I'm grateful for these hard times, but I want you all to listen to me, okay? Not everybody was built for this, to endure homelessness and abandonment and all the different things that I've been through in my 35 years. especially the past 8. So stay in school, use your head, stay smart. I want you to know that I grew up really privileged. I'm a doctor's daughter. I lived that whole white bread world thing for a long time, but again, I made some decisions with my heart instead of my head. You gotta think. And if I could become homeless, so can you. Anyone can. It can happen. So, that being said, I wonder how much your first impressions of me have changed. Just remember that when you are encountering anyone in life, be kind to everybody. You never know what they're walking. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. God bless.